Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Let's start with the Leafs, if you don't mind. Getting bombed last night in Game 4 in Tampa Bay. The series is now 2-2 and a best of 3. What's your analysis out of what came out of Tampa last night?
Well, I just thought that, not necessarily they weren't ready to play, but they were happy with just a split there and come home and feel like they can win it at home. And I definitely I don't think that was the best approach. You got a team down 2 games to 1. You played great last game, I thought, and probably should have been their best game of the series. But for some reason, they were just happy coming home with the split.
I don't know if you read the Toronto Sun, but Steve Simmons said on the weekend, I was reading it flying down here to Florida, in the Calgary Sun, he said anybody that thinks Kyle Dubas should be fired if they lose to Tampa is out to lunch. This is a great Leafs team, best point total in franchise history. If they lose, there's no shame in it. How do you feel about that thought?
They've had a great year. They're a great team. I don't like the way it's set up. It should be one place 8, 2 and 7. To me, you got the 2 best teams in this side playing one another, and that's absolutely wrong. It's terrible. So it's got nothing to do with the GM. I think the coach, in my opinion, should get his skilled players out more often than not.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
I was at a table with referees. This is like a room full of accountants.
Spicy.
And they asked about Connor Bedard, and they laughed. Remember that night that I yelled in the bubble at Bob? Great call, Bobby! I yelled at the referee because he called a penalty shot in favor of the Regina Pats.
Well, it's an empty arena, so your voice will just echo and echo and echo. Yeah, they heard you for sure. That was pretty funny.
Good call, Bobby!
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Happy Monday, Canada. Welcome to the RP Show. It sure is Monday. I tell you what, we're broadcasting live from the beautiful beach house in Pompano Beach, Florida. We're back here for the first time, if you can believe, since I think September is the last time that we were broadcasting from this beautiful place. And thank you, Thad, for inviting us down. You're going to be hearing a lot about Thad coming up over the next couple hours. We're going to the NHL's Bermuda Triangle for the other half of the program, and that is the co-host and President and CEO of DuPont Media, Darren Moose DuPont. How you doing, Moose?
I'm doing great. Yeah, happy Monday. How's the beach?
Well, it's great. But I tell you what, there's a reason, sir, they call it the Sunshine State. Okay, there's a reason. And it is bright as blazes here. I don't think I'm going to be taking these shades off for the next 2 hours. But hey, we're having fun. It's hard to believe almost that it's hockey season. Still, not for the Leafs. Sorry, we're going to get into that. But holy smokes, man, being at the beach in 31-degree weather is something else. But we don't have photos to go through this weekend. I feel like we're just going to jump right into what we're going to talk about today. I can tell you that 2 NHL greats are our analysts on the program today, our guests. LA Kings great Charlie Simmer and Kings and Rangers great Bernie Nicholls are going to be with us to break down the Stanley Cup Playoffs. And I know you guys don't necessarily know who Charlie Simmer is. You would know Bernie Nicholls because we've had him on the show the last couple of weeks. But Charlie Simmer, Darren, you've watched Cheers, right? You're a fan of Cheers?
Of course.
Yeah. He's the Sam Malone of the 1980s National Hockey League. Charlie Simmer. Okay, played for the LA Kings. Married a Playboy playmate. He did color for the Calgary Flames just a few years ago on television. And although the Kings never won that much back in the 1980s, he was always a winner when he took to the ice in that yellow gold Kings jersey with the purple crown on it. And he was one part of the, what they call it? Triple Crown line with the LA Kings. So we got lots to talk about with Charlie Simmer coming up later on in the program. But Director Jordan, can you please hit the Quick Six show topic horn, please. The Quick Six show horn. And by the way, yeoman's work to director Jordan for getting as much as he can the sun figured out here and the lighting and so forth. And I'll stop talking about it and get into what happened with the NHL Weekend Leftovers. And honestly, Darren, out of all the game summaries I could read in this morning's morning skate from NHL.com, the PR website, this is the thing that I picked out the most. This is what they said. After 2 weeks of mayhem in the first round that featured the third most games in a round in NHL history, 14 elimination games, 19 comeback wins, that's 37% of all games, 6 teams erasing a series deficit to come back and win this series. The hockey world will take a day off to catch its breath Monday before dropping the puck on round 2 of the 2022 Stanley Cup Playoffs. And obviously, the Rangers won in overtime on Sunday to eliminate Pittsburgh in Game 7. The Flames scored in overtime. Johnny Hockey. They beat Dallas in overtime and move on to round 2. And then from Saturday, of course, your Leafs lost out to Tampa Bay. It was a wild weekend in the National Hockey League.
It was not.
And Charlie Simmer just logged in. Of course. Not your problem. He's only logging in 40 minutes early. Monday. It's been a day. Okay, you guys tell us when we got Moose back. So I'll read what happened on Sunday. Artemi Panarin scored a power play goal, 4:46 into overtime, and the New York Rangers beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-3 Sunday night to advance to round 2. Mika Zibanejad had a goal and 2 assists. Chris Kreider and K'Andre Miller also scored for New York, who got their third straight comeback win after trailing 3-1 in the series. So you wouldn't have seen, Darren, what just happened, but hockey's Sam Malone just logged in and knocked you off the air. You didn't see him, did you, on the camera, did you?
No, because when somebody else logs in, here's what I get on my end. It freezes, right? And so I thought, Rod's got a spotty connection at the beach house, and I'm rambling on about my thoughts on the playoffs. And I'm like, oh, my God, Rod froze. I'm going to have to fill here for a while. And then I noticed I was frozen.
Exactly the opposite. Exactly. Yeah. Sam Malone logged in early. So I'm sure Clark's telling him, please, because he can't wait to get on and talk hockey. Right? But we got 30 minutes to kill before that. And Clark says we're good now. By the way, God bless Thad, who's watching right now. I'm just going to stop for a minute. What I did was I just read the Rangers score and result. And by the way, Biznasty from Spittin' Chicklets, I don't know if you saw his tweet this morning, but Biznasty saying that the Rangers got handed the series and they're going to be worked by Carolina in round 2. And I've got Carolina winning the series, I think I said in 5. He's saying the officiating handed it to the Rangers. I'm not sure I would go that far with Biznasty, but whatever. And as far as the Flames last night, Johnny Gaudreau, as I mentioned, scored 15:09 into overtime. Calgary beat Dallas 3-2. And let's forget about that because it just sets up the Battle of Alberta. I'm not going to look back. Flames and Oilers are going to meet in round 2 for the first time since 1991. I will look back, though, to Saturday night. So Thad, you've heard me talk a lot about Thad, the general manager here at the Beach House. He's become my new bestie. I want to say he's my hockey spirit animal. He brought down this Aaron Ekblad bobblehead for today's show. If I could find a place to put it, you're right? Your jaw just dropped. And I think he's got a few of these, Thad. I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's going to get it back. But the other thing is he watches Steve Dangle, Darren, somewhat religiously. So I said to Thad on the weekend, why do you watch that guy? He can't even skate. And Thad's like, I don't know. He's funny. He goes, it's the only post-game wrap-up that I can get anywhere. So he watches Steve Dangle, and he said that Dangle literally cried on his post-game YouTube show Saturday night after the Leafs game. So I don't know. I don't assume you were watching Steve Dangle. Maybe you were watching him cry, or maybe you were crying yourself, Darren. That's the only way I'm going to look back is to talk about the Leafs and Lightning Game 7 and Tampa advancing.
Yeah, no, I wasn't crying after that game. Like I told you, I'm pretty good at flushing it. Went for a walk around the block after. It's a beautiful Saturday night. And away we go. It's funny because Leaf fans now, well, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for all of them, but they're, we look at the game, and I think, we watch that game, and you see all the things John Cooper said and Steve Stamkos said, and the Lightning, and the hockey world. I mean, you're pretty proud of the way you played in that series, right? Good series. You're playing the two-time defending Cup champions. Tampa still has all the tools to win another Cup as well, so you don't feel that bad. But on the other hand, you lost again in the first round. 5 straight years, haven't won a series now. In 18 or it'll be 19 years since they've gotten out of the first round of the playoffs. So you have to be disappointed, but it's hard to point fingers and figure out where it went wrong because it wasn't they blew it, they got beat. And I think you're a little happier when you got beat by a better team.
Well, a lot of people watching in Toronto and Eastern Canada and Leafs fans right now. I've said many times, I've never lived in Toronto for a day. I've never cheered for the Leafs for even a minute. So I can't speak to the pressure that's on that team, but I did see Kelly Rudy after the game putting his hands up on the Hockey Night in Canada panel saying, nobody should be fired coming out of this. Clearly it's a thing. And I love the fact that the Leafs feel if we don't win the Stanley Cup, somebody needs to be fired. But I'm like, entitled much? You haven't won a Stanley Cup since the advent of color television, and you want to fire somebody because you haven't won the Stanley Cup. Okay. By the way, another thing on that game, and I don't mind spending some time on the Leafs because we do have a lot of viewers in Eastern Canada, as I said. Austin Matthews led the Leafs in hits the other night. And as the game was going along, I'm like, it looks like Austin Matthews is leading the Leafs in hits. By the time the game was over, he did, with 4. The game was over, Austin Matthews hit more people than anybody else wearing a Leaf uniform. Just so you know, later that night, Connor McDavid had the second most hits on the Edmonton Oilers. Zach Kassian had the most, but McDavid also was scoring. So, I mean, God bless Austin Matthews, and I've become a huge fan. Believe me, I get it. You got a 60-goal scorer leading the team in hits. Did somebody else want to show up and lay the body on? Are you leaving? Over to you.
I know. Well, they after game 1 and 2, they took out Kyle Clifford and Wayne Simmons out of the lineup, and they never returned. Right, completely shut them down. That's the game the Leafs wanted to play early on in that series, was try and be physical, intimidate Tampa. And you realize pretty quickly, Tampa's been to this dance before. You're not intimidating the Tampa Bay Lightning out of anything. So go back to a speed and skill game and not a physical one. And that was the best chance they had to win the series, was to beat them, heads up with skill. And at the end of the day, they couldn't do it.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it being Monday, my screen's freezing, and I think it's because it's too hot here. I know, don't pray for me, please. By the way, promotional consideration for the RP show brought to you in part by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, the preferred plumbing, heating, and cooling place of the RP show. Find out everything you need to know about our services, financing, product information, and more at broncoplumbing.com. I can't get to the viewer comments right now because it's either the Wi-Fi is slow, which it doesn't seem to be. I think we seem to be running okay here, but the restaurant's filling up. There's going to be more people in here. My computer's running a little slow. So I will move on to round 2 predictions. Here are mine, and then I want to get yours. The Battle of Alberta, I'm actually glad I'm not going to be there. For 40 years in my life, I needed to be where the action is. For the last decade, I don't need to be where the action is. There's going to be deaths. There's going to be, no, that might be an exaggeration, but there's going to be fights in the streets. There's going to be a lot of ill will. I don't want to be around it. I'm going to tell you that the Flames will win in 6 games. Sorry. Sutter hockey, baby. Built for this time of year. They're a deeper team. They're going to run the Oilers out of the rink physically, and they've got just enough skill to score when they need to, and they've got far better goaltending. Flames in 6. Colorado, St. Louis, I'll take the Avs in 6. Carolina, New York Rangers. Carolina actually in 6, because the Rangers do seem to have some sort of mojo going, but not as much as Carolina. It'll be a 6-game series. And then Tampa Bay, Florida. Panthers in 7. I maintain the Lightning have lost their hunger. There's not as, and they're now facing the number 1 team in the NHL, the Florida Panthers. who are rested somewhat since clinching on Friday, and they don't have near the pressure on them that the Leafs have. Florida, like 1/100th of the pressure Florida faces compared to Toronto. That's why I think they win in 7. So those are my predictions. Write them down. Flames in 6, Canes in 6, Panthers in 7. You?
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you on most of those picks. I think the Canes will win in 5. I think that one's going to go fast, a little bit faster. I think the Oiler-Flames series will go 7, but I'll also give the edge to Calgary. I got Colorado in 5 as well in their series. Everything else pretty much lines up. I think that Panther-Tampa series is going to be probably the best series of the round. I'm trying to think of where I disagree with you. I really don't think that there's anywhere that I disagree with you. And that's kind of sucks for television, but it's the truth.
I'm sorry, did you touch on Flames Oilers? What did you say?
Yeah, I think it goes 7, and the Flames win in 7 at home.
Well, it's a perfect time to bring up today's poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Who wins the round 2 series between the Flames and Oilers? 62% of respondents saying the Calgary Flames. 62% of respondents saying the Calgary Flames will win this round 2. Battle of Alberta, the first such series since 1991. Good, just a couple minutes left in this segment, and then we'll continue the chat and we'll talk about the CFL, what's the latest there, and everything else in the world of sports. I'll tell you this rock star of the day for Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions was 3 Down Nation's Justin Dunk, who predicted a CFL strike would happen, and it has. Don't doubt that, kid. A lot of people do. They just don't learn. We'll see who today's Rockstar of the Day is between Bernie Nicholls or Charlie Simmer. But the Rockstar of the Day for Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions, they specialize in improving your company's performance and bottom line through supply chain management services. I want to get a note on the Blue Jays. Matt Chapman's throwing error allowed Tampa Bay to break a scoreless tie in this 6th inning, and the Rays went on to beat the visiting Toronto Blue Jays 3-0 Sunday in Major League Baseball. Jeffrey Springs combined with 4 relievers on a 5-hitter for the Rays, who took 2 of 3 off Toronto. The Jays will hope to turn things around when they host the Seattle Mariners tonight, 7:07 Eastern at Rogers Center. And after the CFL and CFL Players Association broke off negotiations on a new collective bargaining agreement Saturday, the union directed players from 7 of the league's 9 teams to participate in a work stoppage. Everybody's afraid to use the term strike. I don't know why, but they're afraid to say it. It's a strike. They're on strike, okay? However, players from the Stampeders and Elks reported to their respective teams' camps on Sunday, since they won't be in a legal strike position until later this month, as per Alberta's labor laws. So when we come back, we'll spend far more time on that. And if you notice, Moose, from the NFL, Drew Brees is talking about coming out of retirement. So we still got a lot of things to get to. This is the warm-up. You're watching the RP Show live from Pompano Beach House in Pompano Beach, Florida, on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Another beautiful day in South Florida as we crack the lid on a brand new week. It is episode number 757 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. And it's funny, we do talk, as they say, a lot of Canadian sports, but those sports happen to be American sports too, like the National Hockey League. But Taco Time is reserved primarily for Canada. And did you know Taco Time's been around for over 40 years? In the Great White North, this iconic brand and a Canadian favorite serves over 3.2 million burritos, 2.5 million tacos, and over 1 million Mexi fries every year. We'll be back in the Great White North 1 week from today as we kick off week-long coverage from the Nhl Cup National Junior A Hockey Tournament in the beautiful city of Estevan. If we can bring the Moose in now, the lovely and talented co-host of this favorite program, I'm going to get to the CFL chat in a moment, other than to say one thing. Setting up to do the show, and it's always new people. Moose, you've worked in the restaurant chain. I've worked in the restaurant chain. There's a lot of turnover, right? And I said, we haven't been on the air here since September. There was a guy helping me out today, John, originally from New York, got down here with his military career, and he settled in Miami because he loved it so much. And he says, Canadian sports, huh? What do you talk Canadian sports? I said, I don't know, like the National Hockey League? He goes, yeah, you talk CFL? And I'm like, well, yeah. He goes, why? I watch the CFL. I know that guy from the 90s. I said, Flutie? No, the other guy. Garcia? No, the other guy. Set all the records. I said, Warren Moon? He's like, yeah, Moon. That's the guy, Moon, Warren Moon. I said, well, that's the 80s. But what it really struck to me, Moose, was what does he remember about the CFL? The players. Ding, 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 ding. Tell them what he's won, Bob. The guys that are currently getting shafted right now by the CFL owners here into day 2 of the strike. Couple notifications coming across my phone. One, the Vegas Golden Knights have fired their head coach, Peter DeBoer. Let's just pack that, put it up here for later. And the other, the Saskatchewan Roughriders announcing they've canceled today's practice. So clearly this is a day-by-day thing, right? They're not canceling a week of practices. It's each day's practice. But they're all afraid to say that they're on strike. And where is it? Tacona Powley's watching in Winnipeg. He says, striking is not politically correct now, Rod. It incites violence, unlike work stoppage. LOL. Are you joking? Really? You can't be fat anymore because it'll hurt their feelings. So we can't say strike because it's going to start a war. So we're going to say works. It's a strike. And to be honest, I've got a million thoughts, but I'm sure you do too. And you're one half of this show. I mean, how do you feel about the fact they're on strike? Did you think it would get this far?
I didn't think it would get this far. And I'm not going to predict, exactly. I'm not going to say I can predict the future, but now one update on that, on the teams announcing, I think the Riders, you mentioned announcing the cancellation of practice. They've now said all practices are canceled from now until forever. Once we have an actual practice going to happen, we'll send out a new schedule. So the existing schedule, done, scrapped it. So that's an interesting development. We thought maybe it was going to be wrapped up soon. We hear that, the two sides are actually really close, that the informal talks are happening, and that there's only a few little details now to iron out. But on the other hand, we didn't think it would get this far. So, I mean, I don't want to say that it's not going to continue on and put the preseason games in jeopardy and potentially week one. But right now we have no idea what's going to happen.
I want to remind our viewers, of course, they know it because they're watching, but we are on Game Plus television live across all 10 provinces and 31 states, but also streaming on YouTube as a service for those that don't get that cable package. But if you don't get it, what's wrong with you? There are questions coming in, and I'll get to those in a second. There's just one thing that sort of dawned on me with regards to this strike. I'm casually following what I'm seeing. I don't necessarily believe some of the insiders with what they're saying because I know that they're paid mouthpieces of the owners. So I don't really trust that. When Brett Lowther, the kicker of Saskatchewan, comes out and says we're standing up to the old boys club that is the CFL, I get a little more time for that because that's coming right out of the horse's mouth. But what I think the fans don't understand, where this is different than an NFL strike or an MLB strike, which canceled some of spring training this year, as you know, they're not fighting over millions and billions of dollars. They're fighting over, no money. Really big difference here. This isn't necessarily greed. They're fighting over league survival. Do you have any thoughts on that take before I answer some of these viewer questions, Darren? It's different than the big league strikes.
For sure it is. It makes it, that much more serious too, because, we're talking about, real serious dollars that affect people's ability to provide, right? I mean, these are finite dollars. This isn't a big deal. So every percentage, 5%, 10%, even 2-3% is a significant amount of money to the players. It's a very big deal. We're not sitting here fighting over millions and billions, that's for sure.
And the thing is, I don't have a lot of time for it because it should have been wrapped up before we got this far. And as far as the old boys club of the CFL, it's really what the CFL's big problem is. I guess it'll be in my commentary tomorrow. I was going to do it on the hockey has just been so good. If you listen on Cat Country or Rock 98 or read it on our website, I had to talk about the Stanley Cup Playoffs because they have got their act together. This old boys club of the CFL has gotten them to where they are. They still run the CFL, and the lack of innovation, advancement, evolution is why they don't have any money, right? And they're saying we're not going to have any extra money for at least 5 years. So I wonder where Amar Doman, the new BC Lions owner, or Victor Cui, the new president of the Edmonton Elks, sit in this. They're not sitting at the adults table. Okay, they haven't earned a chair at the adults table yet. So they're sitting back watching what the old boys are doing going, I would think, if they have a heart and they have some common sense, but these old boy CFL owners are like, hold my beer. These guys have always fallen for this. Now they're not. To the viewers, Greg S., watching on YouTube, says, hey, Rod and Darren, do you think the Leafs have a problem that needs fixing? I'm just trying to get through his whole comment here. Do you think the Leafs... I can't find the rest. Well, I do think they have a problem that needs fixing, and I guess if you need to read between the lines, do I need to bonk them right between the eyes? They still have an absence of heart in here. That's what I think the Leafs' problem is. Austin Matthews doesn't have that, but clearly a lot of them don't. And which, by the way, watching the third period the other night in the Leafs-Lightning game, they were double shifting Matthews, Marner, and whoever else is on that line. Double shifting them. Remember Babcock in the third period against Boston when they blew that lead? He was criticized for not playing his stars enough. Bernie Nicholls said it the other day, they need to play those guys more. They still played those guys more, but they couldn't get it done in the end. What do you think the Leafs' problem is?
100%. You nailed it. Like, without a doubt, it's the heart, and you got to learn how to win. And, until you learn, you're going to keep losing, and they're going to keep losing and keep losing. I think the question he's asking is about personnel and things like that. I don't think there's an issue there. I mean, they've changed more personnel over the last decade than anybody, right? Changed coaches, changed personnel, always trying to blame other things for the problem, right? And trying to find these quick fix solutions. The problem's in here. So there's not much that needs to change with the group. They just need to figure out how to win.
Check on the clock here. Got a lot of things going on. As we always, my computer's like it's either about to melt or something's going on. And again, pray for me that it's 31 degrees with the humidity here in South Florida. I know. Well, they don't ask much of me, eh? Ted in Red Deer. Ted in Red Deer watching says, hey, Rod, who are the old boys? Sask, Hamilton, Toronto. Saskatchewan's elite doesn't have a seat at the big boys table either. We see what we're reading. It's Hamilton's president, Scott Mitchell. It's Winnipeg's president, Wade Miller, are the guys that are leading the negotiations with the players. That's what I read. And it used to be David Braley. Like David Braley wasn't just a member of the Old Boys Club. He was the founder, the CEO, the chairman of the board. That was Braley. But he's gone now. So it's from what we hear, it's Hamilton and Winnipeg. Saskatchewan doesn't have a seat at the big boys table. I don't believe. Not anymore. Don Mitchell in Ottawa, our Navy friend Don Mitchell just asked the same thing. Do these big boys have names? Those are the names from what we hear, and as a guy that's been covering this league since 1991, I got a pretty good handle of how things go. Jack Fulton watching in Vulcan, Alberta says, beating the players down and trying to keep them there has a term that I won't use in the interest of being politically correct. I'm all for the players. Actually, I read a very interesting blog this morning by a guy by the name of Ryder Prophet. You've probably heard of him. And he says, I blog on the side. I work in labor relations for full time. He said, everything that's going on here is just a gigantic game of chicken. He says, who blinks first? But he goes, neither side wants to win games. And there is a game scheduled 1 week from today. Winnipeg at Saskatchewan. So he said, I will 100% guarantee this strike is over by next Monday because there's a game that nobody wants to miss. And to be honest, that was the best coverage that I'd read. And here's a guy with really no skin in the game. Again, I don't believe the league insiders and the media because I know who's in their ear. And the players I have a little more time for because they're a lot more. They are on it. But these guys, everybody gets sucked in all the time. The owner is saying to the players, well, we don't need to meet till the week before the training camp. Our problems aren't that big. Well, fell for it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some things don't change, Moose.
No, they don't. And now we're here, right? And now we figure out. And I look at the game 1 week from today. If they don't get on that field right away, how are they going to be in a position to be prepared to play and actually put a team on the field? I mean, they'll put a team on the field with 3 days of practice. But I mean, geez, we got to get on the field if that's even going to be a hope to play next week.
Well, I saw that they need to be by Wednesday. If they're not on the field by Wednesday, they won't be able to play. But there's so much bunk and fake news. I don't believe much of it. From the viewers talking about leagues that actually play. Chad Isaac, Flames fan, says, the thing I love about the Flames is they don't have a number one guy. They have a team that can put up points anytime and a lot of heart. They're already talking about the Battle of Alberta. And the series hasn't even started yet. The viewers, the last I saw, 68% voting for the Calgary Flames will win this latest Battle of Alberta series, the first time they've met since 1991. From Andrew Stute, Canadiens fan, says, I think they have one more year with that group. Matthews, 23-24 season. Again, just my opinion. It's always just one more. But they don't want to fire anybody. They don't. Nobody wants to fire GMs. Nobody wants to fire coaches. And I don't think anybody's going to get fired in Toronto either, because did they not have a franchise record season for points, Darren, as a team?
Yeah, they did. And I mean, that's unfortunate. I mean, you look at it, you took the two-time defending Cup champs to Game 7, lost by a goal. We're up in the series. I mean, there wasn't this big implosion. There wasn't this huge failure, even though you didn't win a playoff series again. It's really a weird, and I think all those teams in the East that all had 100-plus points. I mean, you can't be that upset if you're Pittsburgh or, if you're any Boston or these teams that lost out Washington, right? They all had great years.
I'm going to let you go. I'm going to read a sports update. We're going to bring in Bernie Nicholls. I'll see you back here in an hour or two. All right. Sports update live from the Beach House Pompano. Buffalo and Colorado claimed Game 1 of this weekend's NLL Conference Finals. In the best-of-3 series openers, Colorado down San Diego 14-12, and Buffalo got past Toronto 18-17. Game 2 goes this weekend in Denver and Hamilton. In Canadian Premier League action over the weekend, a pair of doubleheaders. Saturday, Forge and Atletico tied 1-1. Pacific beat Edmonton 2-1. Then on Sunday, the Wanderers tied my favorite team, the Calgary Cavalry, 2-2. And Valor blanked York 1-0. The Niagara River Lions announced today the 16 players that will report to the 2022 training camp. Players went through combine testing this weekend as well as medicals and will begin practice today for the Canadian Elite Basketball League 2022. The camp is set to take place beginning May 16th to the 23rd before the team departs for Saskatchewan for the season opener. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room. Check out our brand new line of games. For the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, and for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. We will be back with Bernie Nicholls after this timeout. You're watching the RP Show live from Beach House Pompano on the Game Plus TV network, streaming live on YouTube. And if you missed any of the show, you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is the RP Show live from Pompano Beach House. If you are in South Florida, check this place out. It's gorgeous. And they've invited us down to do more sports talk today. And Thad, the general manager, even can say he donated this Aaron Ekblad bobblehead to the cause. I feel like he has, Thad. You let me know. So Bernie Nicholls is the NHL ambassador for BetRegal, our exclusive betting partner. And the guys are telling me they've got Bernie, but they're getting him situated. I don't know what the deal is specifically, so I don't even know where to go with that. But for those that don't know, he's turning into a savant, Bernie. He said the Panthers were going to come back. Oh, he's ready. He's ready. Bernie, you said that the Panthers were going to come back and win, and they did. You said Tampa. You're laughing. No, I'm serious, man. And the guy, by the way, where's your totals? 1,127 games. We're having some internet issues here, Bernie. So 1,000 games, 1,000 points, all the rest. Bernie, everything happened in round one that you said would. How's that feel?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I missed one, didn't I? St. Louis.
Pretty darn close.
But yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm pulling it up here right now. I don't know where to start, man. Do you want to look ahead or back? I mean, this is the one thing I wanted to say to you. Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, like those game sevens were ridiculous. The one last night, both actually Toronto and then the Edmonton one, and last night Calgary, Dallas was unbelievable. You feel bad for Dallas because they played so hard. Their goalie played so great. To me, Calgary was just such a better team, but Dallas goalie just kept them in it all night. It was unbelievable.
Well, actually, here's the numbers I was looking for. It was the third most games, period, played, with so many going to Game 7. 14 elimination games were played. 19 comeback wins in the series. 37% of all games featured a comeback. 6 teams erased series deficits to come back and win the series. And then the hockey world's taking a day to collect our breath, and then round 2 begins tomorrow. I guess the big one I'll ask you is this. How did the Rangers, in your mind, come back and win and erase a 3-1 series deficit? Like, Biznasty's saying the refs in the NHL gave them the series. I wouldn't go that far, but how did they cave in Pittsburgh? How did Pittsburgh cave and the Rangers come back and win?
Yeah, I wouldn't say Pittsburgh caved, and I wouldn't say the refs give them the win, New York. It's just a bad rule, right? Like, that's just a dumb rule. When they scored the tying goal, that should never happen. They should be able to replay that and see what happened and just blow the play dead. I honestly think the minute Sid went down, I knew they were in trouble. I know the goalie Jari played hurt last night and still played great. Malcolm was hurt. I just think Pittsburgh picked New York with you guys. I was cheering for Pittsburgh because I always cheer for Sid. When Sid went down, I knew they were in trouble, and he wasn't really healthy last night, but they outplayed them. Out of the 7 games, I think they outshot them 5 out of the 7 games and definitely outplayed them. So I really think the wrong team won that. I think Pittsburgh plays such a great defensive style, all 5 guys. But new enough, I guess, their goalie played good last night. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny. I don't know if you were watching, because again, I'm here in South Florida. I'm watching on TBS, and they're saying game time decision for Sid, game time decision for Jerry. And Ken Danico comes on and says, they're playing. It's game 7, right? Why fiddle around? Well, of course you're not going to miss a game like that.
Well, Sid's is different than Jari's. Jari's ankle was bad, and you could see when he went off after the third period before OT, he was limping pretty bad. And Malcolm, he's been hurt the whole series. You could tell he wasn't the same. I think with Sid's different because it's his head. It's not that, whether he was going to play or not, it's whether he would be allowed to play. That's the difference. He would play if he could, but he had to get the okay from the doctors. So obviously that happened. But I know if he was in for game 6 and game 5, I really think it would have been a different outcome.
That has witnessed our hopes. Bernie Nicholls, NHL ambassador for BetRegal, and here it is: 1,127 NHL games played, 1,209 career points, and he called all but one of the 8 first-round Stanley Cup series. I'm not going to see you for a week, Bernie, so now would be the best time to go with your second-round predictions. I'm sure you've thought about it. I'll fire them at you if you don't mind. How do you think Florida-Tampa's going to go?
Well, I think Florida's probably the better team. I know the kid that went down, Point, is that's going to hurt Tampa a lot. The thing is with this series, I think Tampa has by far the best goalie, and he can win the series. I really think Florida's going to win it, but it wouldn't shock me because, like I said, I don't trust Florida's goalie, and I definitely like Tampa's goalie. But missing Point is going to be a big negative for those guys. So I think Florida will win that.
I got Panthers in 7. Carolina and the New York Rangers. I've got the Hurricanes in 6. I'm not going to ask you how many games, but who do you think wins the series?
Yeah, I think so too. It all depends on goaltending again. New York's goalie is so good, and I know he didn't play great most of the series. He played great last night, which was key. But I think Hurricanes will win that as well.
Brian Lawton on NHL Network saying, watch out for the Blues. I'm not buying it. Colorado, St. Louis, I'm taking the Avalanche. I'm taking 6. I think they'll win 2, but they're not going to win the series.
Yeah, as good as St. Louis has played, and they're built for playoffs, and they played great the last series, but God, I can't see anybody slowing down Colorado. I think the best chance they'll have is first game because they've been off for so long, but I think Colorado's the best team on that side.
And I have saved the best for last. I'm on record as saying Flames in 6. I gave the reasons why. What are you saying here today, Bernie, is going to win this series?
Well, I think, again, it comes down to goaltending, and I think Calgary has by far the best goalie. As much as, the goalie played really well the last couple games for Edmonton. My argument there is too, and I think if anybody wanted to figure out who was the MVP in the NHL, if they watch the Edmonton game on Saturday night, McDavid is by far not even close, in my opinion, as the best player in the league, best player in the world. He played so well. I think Calgary can slow him down, and I think Calgary has the best goalie. So as much as me being an Oiler, I'm thinking Calgary as well.
All right, there you go. Weekends at Bernie's. Those are his picks and mine. Sign up using the promo code LEGENDS at BetRegal.ca and get a special welcome bonus with BetRegal bucks deposited right in your account. While I got you, Bernie, product of Halliburton, Ontario. You're a Leafs fan and supporter. A viewer earlier said, what, if anything, needs to be fixed with the Leafs? We have a minute. Can you do it in a minute?
Well, let me clarify something. It's my fiance's the Leafs fan, so I cheer for her. I don't cheer for the Leafs. You know what? There's going to be a lot said. The Leafs are so close. Their goaltender played great. They got great skill. I love the changes they made this year. They got the bottom 6 guys are young, really talented. They got good coaching. I think to get the Leafs over the top, you need that big stud defenseman, and you're not going to find them because there's only a couple in the league. The Hedmans, guys like that. That's all they're missing. They got a great team, but like I said, they ran into probably the only team on that side, in my opinion, that if they had won that, I think they go right through. So for the Leafs fans, their team played great all year. They entertained you all year. They ran into just a better goalie and maybe a better team, 2-time defending Stanley Cup champs. So they got nothing to worry about. Their future looks really good, in my opinion.
Great analysis, Bernie. Love our visits. We'll chat with you in a week. Enjoy the hockey.
You got it. You too. Thank you.
BetRegal NHL ambassador and Rangers and Kings great Bernie Nicholls. Viewer takeover next. Charlie Simmer's on the way today as well. You're watching the RP Show live from Beach House Pompano in South Florida on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and of course 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It's what we call viewer takeover, and we're going to mix in viewer comments with breaking news here live from the Beach House in Pompano Beach, Florida. And by the way, coming up in hour 2, Charlie Simmer. I cracked the text line. Everything seems to be working fine now. You can always reach us. The number's on the screen, 902-518-3033. Pick up the phone and text RP, 902-518-3033, as we broadcast live nationally on Game Plus TV across Canada and the United States. Couple things. One, DG writes in from the Bridge City. He says, where the heck is it? Morning, guys. Great to see the field set for the Centennial Cup in Estevan next week. The Pickering Panthers, coached by former Leaf Rod Pedersen, claimed the OJHL championship Sunday night to close out the field. Here is the field, Roddy. The Estevan Bruins, Flin Flon Bombers, Brooks Bandits, Dauphin Kings, Red Lake Miners, Sioux Thunderbirds, Pickering Panthers, Ottawa Junior Senators, College Français Longueuil, and the Summerside Western Capitals. Signed, DG in Saskatoon. Yes, 1 week from today, we'll be broadcasting live from the Centennial Cup in the beautiful city of Estevan. I can't wait. By the way, Clark, can you go into the text line, and you'll see a message here from Todd B. in Red Deer, and he's posted a photo. He took us golfing on Saturday. So we got a few minutes left in this segment. If you have time, Clark, go into the text line, the 902 line, and pluck that photo out. Looks just so darn good. And while we do that, Ken Pearson is watching on television in Neepawa, Manitoba, and he says, whoa, Vegas, change is happening. So we go to the big board, and here it is. The Vegas Golden Knights Monday morning fired Coach Peter DeBoer in the aftermath of missing the playoffs for the first time in their 5-year franchise history. Throw the photo up, Clark, if you don't mind. This came from Todd in Red Deer. We love the user-generated photos, as they say, the user-generated content. I hope that we gave you a lift on Saturday golfing in Red Deer, Todd. Thanks for supporting us and taking us wherever you go. Back to the breaking news. General Manager Kelly McCrimmon made the announcement and thanked DeBoer for his work with the organization. Last minute of play in hour 1, last minute of play. Vegas failed to qualify for the playoffs after a barrage of injuries compounded by salary cap problems wreaked havoc on the lineup, most notably in goal. This is my favorite team, the Vegas Golden Knights. Got a lot of friends with the organization, so DeBoer's the problem. Okay. Islanders. The New York Islanders Monday morning hired longtime Barry Trotz assistant and right-hand man Lane Lambert to succeed him as coach. General Manager Lou Lamoriello announced Lambert as Trotz's replacement a week ago after firing the Stanley Cup winning coach who had 1 year left on his deal. Another Black Monday. Lane Lambert, Swift Current product, I believe, the new head coach of the New York Islanders. We'll kick all this around, plus the Drew Brees news with the Moose when he rejoins. And Charlie Simmer's going to be with us, too, on Game Plus after this break.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You got to subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
I was at a table with referees. This is like a room full of accountants.
Spicy.
And they asked about Connor Bedard, and they laughed. Remember that night that I yelled in the bubble at Bob? Great call, Bobby! I yelled at the referee because he called a penalty shot in favor of the Regina Pats.
Well, it's an empty arena, so like your voice will just echo and echo and echo. Yeah, they heard you for sure. That was pretty funny.
Good call, Bobby!
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It sure is. Welcome, everybody, to the RP Show. It's hour 2. We are broadcasting live from the beach house in Pompano Beach, Florida. Shades on, shades off. Shades on, shades off. What do you think, guys? Tell me. Back there. Go on. Thank you, Clark. Producer Clark says go shades on. And I want to tell you something. When I started doing television, 27 years ago, when I did my first show, I wanted to wear shades. It was a football show, and the camera guy said, no, nobody wears the sunglasses. No, you don't do that. So then I never did. And that was the first of a very long, what should I say, heated relationship between he and I. But now we can do whatever we want. Thank you, Clark. And we're going to wear shades, even though they say you don't do that on television. That's the one great thing about this show is we do what we want, including bringing in the Moose. As I broadcast live from the beach house in Pompano Beach, Florida, the Moose is in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. And Moose, we got a lot of things to get to here. Are you ready to settle in and get comfortable with some sports talk?
Yeah, you betcha. Let's go. And the shades, you know what? Doesn't matter what we prefer. You can do whatever you want, man. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, we got a guy leaving the network, Game Plus Television, and it's unfortunate. I think he's gone now. You know the guy that I mean. And there's a lot of folks that are still at Game Plus. They're watching now. And he said, I'm going to miss you guys' culture with the RP show. And I said, I appreciate that. We're a very, very much a come as you are program, right? Not a lot of rules around here necessarily to our peril. But you set the culture, Moose. So if it screws up, it's on you. Anyway.
You're on the beach in Florida, wearing sunglasses, broadcasting across North America. I think our culture is pretty good.
Oh, no complaints here whatsoever. So, a couple things here. Like, you're there? Okay. Ted in Red Deer. This guy's a very sharp guy, too. He writes in, he says, how is Bernie not on a panel somewhere? Always great insight. You got to understand, I don't want to get sidetracked, so Moose, keep me on point here. But the fact that Peter DeBoer got fired in Vegas and Vane Lambert, as his friends call him, Lane Lambert got hired by the Islanders. Let's try to stay on point there. But I know that a lot of you younger guys on our staff don't even know who Charlie Simmer is. He's coming up later this hour. And a lot of you don't even know who Bernie Nicholls is. That's fine, but at least give us some credit for putting, not just the young people, all young people don't know. These guys did a lot in their careers, and they know stuff. And the guys and gals that are on the panels now in the NHL and all these other leagues, they know stuff too. But they're not necessarily allowed to say what they think. And Bernie can come on and say whatever the hell he thinks. And he nailed 7 of 8 series in round 1. Even when Washington was ahead of Florida, Bernie's like, Florida's going to come back and win. You know, and he also said that Tampa was going to beat Toronto. He said Toronto can't stand up to him. And I feel like the guys on TSN can't say that or they'd be fired because the Leafs own a portion of the network, you know. And I'm trying to not go on too much of a rant here, but last night a gal was interviewing Mika Zibanejad after the Rangers game, and she said, is that the biggest goal you've ever scored? And I'm like, no, it was the gold medal game of the 2012 World Juniors. I called it when he scored in overtime, and Sweden beat Russia for their first gold medal in 30 years. No, that was the biggest goal. Nobody cares, Rod. Just shut up and watch. So what's great about this show is we may break a lot of rules, but God dang it, at least we say what we want to say and are right more often than we're not. Wouldn't you say, Moose?
Oh, no, for sure. I think that's the case. I mean, we look at things, though, just from a common sense approach, right? And that seems to pan out more often than not. And no, I love what we can do every day, and we can say what we want. And, you know, I remember you played for me some of those goal calls from that World Juniors. That was cool. And Zibanejad scoring for Sweden. That is a huge moment. Sweden perennially, underachieves at the World Juniors, and to finally win it all, pretty cool.
Well, yes. And by the way, not like I was being that guy. We must have run out of everything to play in the dash of my capital SUV that day, but we did play that, and I said, and 30 is the charm. Sweden has won World Junior Gold. But I don't do play-by-play anymore. I'd rather do this. And I had a text from a guy here on the text line, the 902 line, asking if I'm missing Ryder Camp at all. And I said, no. Tank in Estevan writes in, from the beautiful city of Estevan, writes in, and he says, this isn't television. It's Roddy Vision.
How about
Keep
that?
it up. Thanks. Tank also says, Vegas doesn't know if they're coming or going. Can't get their ship together. Let's say this, okay? As I said, they are my favorite team, so I follow them a lot more closely than most other teams. And I also got a lot of friends in that organization. Hey, here's me now being careful with what I say. But I don't really care. They don't pay me. I just know that the pressure in Vegas is ridiculous for a team that's only been around for 5 years. But I mean, what do we they fired Gerard Gallant because you didn't win a Stanley Cup in year 3. Off with his head. Marc-Andre Fleury blows a goal in game 3, costs him a game. Off with your head. Whatever. You know, it worked for Kelly McCrimmon in Brandon. And I'm not even necessarily saying that Kelly's calling all the shots. I think Bill Foley is the owner. The thing, that's the culture there in Vegas. You don't win it all, you're going to be fired. And I'm not sure that's necessarily the way to go, but who am I to criticize anybody? But Darren, watching from the outside, because you don't necessarily talk to all the same people that I do, what do you think about DeBoer being fired? Like, I knew somebody was going to be fired. I didn't think it would be DeBoer. So what do you think about today's news?
I didn't either, but I think it was the last couple of weeks ago when Barry Trotz was let go and we were batting around, where does he end up? And I thought Vegas might be an option. And, you know, sometimes you don't make the coaching change unless you know what your options are, right? And I think if somebody like Barry Trotz wasn't necessarily available, then maybe Peter DeBoer stays to coach the Vegas Golden Knights again, and they call this an off year, dealing with Mark Stone's injury and Jack Eichel and, you know, the goaltending with Robin Lehner, and you chalk it up to that. But I think, and again, this is not from talking to anybody in the organization or intimately knowing what Kelly McCrimmon's thinking, but I think if a guy like Barry Trotz now is available, it kind of forces your hand to say, we really want him. So, you know what, we're going to get rid of our guy. And if they go out and get Barry Trotz now in the next, 7 to 10 days, we'll have known that this was the reason. I think if Barry Trotz wasn't available, they might not have made this move.
Really good points. What did we just said it on Friday? There's a lot of great coaches available right now. So it's maybe not as much as the Golden Knights missing the playoffs as much as maybe they want somebody else. BW watching in Edmonton says that Toronto sports business guy used to be on Sportsnet. He would wear his sunglasses in the studio. Looks great. If you're telling me that I look like Bob McGowan on the air right now, I'm going to go throw up. Do we have a Bob McGowan thing? Because if so, I'm taking them off.
Well, yeah, the vibe with McGowan was that he was like sitting back at the poker table, right? Kind of like doing his thing. You don't really have that vibe, but I get where he's coming from.
Clark says no, too. Wayne, watching in Victoria, BC, says, I have to say that beach behind Rod looks very inviting. How can you not love your job, Rod? I never said I didn't. And that beach is very inviting, and I probably will run down there right after the show, but I do have an appointment with the bank at 3 Eastern. And that's, by the way, that's the thing. To the guy, Dale Wagner was his name. He wrote it on the 902 line. He says, do you miss being at Ryder Camp? And I said, no, I don't miss it one bit. But I'm going to tell you something. This morning when I got up, I'm like, I can't wait to get to the beach house and get on the air. Like, I can't wait to do it. The thing with football, and I say this to Darren all the time, and to our crew, football for me was a lot of work because I didn't know football. I had to work really hard to cover that team and not sound like an idiot. And a lot of times I did. I don't know why anybody even listened to me because I wasn't a football guy. A lot of times I was on the air talking about things I didn't even know about. Whereas with hockey, it's like, it's in my DNA. It's like breathing. It's very, very easy to me. And now with the fact that we can say whatever we want, I think we've got a leg up on the other networks because I'm one of the few guys that can say whatever I want. And the fact that I'm right most of the time is why our viewership and sponsorship and everything else is growing. Anyways, enough about that. BW, by the way, says, no, you look great. He's like, don't get it twisted. As Chris Jones would say, don't get it twisted now. You look like Bob McGowan, but you still look great. Chad Isaac, Flames fan, writes in. He says, Centennial Cup coming up. Are the boys going? Sorry, but I have to cheer for the Brooks Bandits. Hashtag AJHL. Shall I, Moose? We vote. And it's 1:11 Eastern, by the way. 11:11 where you are. Take a drink.
11:11.
Your wishes are coming true. We've only been promoting for a couple of months that we're going to Estevan and broadcasting live all week long. So, yes, we'll be there, and we can't wait. The field is set. We talked about it last hour. You need to be here for the entire 2 hours. Phyllis writes in, I believe she's in Winnipeg. She says, Vegas, where you go to be fired or traded after winning a prestigious award. Owners/managers are berserk there. That's the thing. I mean, I've been told by a lot of my friends that do work there, wonderful place to work, great organization. I'm sure that it is. But I don't know. that ruling by fear, while it does work in a lot of organizations and a lot of teams, it's not for me. Darren does not rule by fear. You look like you want to chime in with something. You jump in anytime, Moose.
No, of course, and I know that I can. But no, I couldn't. You know, if I tried to rule by fear, it just wouldn't be authentic, and I'd get walked all over. It would not work.
Well, so we're proving that you can win by not ruling by fear.
That's right.
By the way, just to morph in the CFL talk, from 1 week from today, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are supposed to play the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at Mosaic Stadium. 1 week from today. They're currently in a strike, and that is a fact. I was actually looking this up. Pardon me. 5 p.m. Eastern, so it's 3 p.m. SAS time next Monday. Saskatchewan and Winnipeg are supposed to play, but they're on strike. Let's just back this up for a minute or two. Why is everybody so afraid to say that they're on a strike? Why am I the only one saying they're in a strike, Darren?
Work stoppage is the soft new way to do it. It's funny. I was talking about I was looking at the Vegas Golden Knights, okay? And they announced the Peter DeBoer firing. Well, they didn't say fired. They said, we've relieved him of his duties. Like it's all of a sudden a good thing. We've relieved him of his pain. We've relieved you, Rod. We've relieved you. We're doing you a favor. You know, so work stoppage. Well, it sounds like a day off,
they did.
not like a strike. I know.
Yeah, in my case, they did. I'm sorry. So, I'm going to say strike, and I don't care what anybody else says. We got 2 minutes, and I guess we could spend more on this on the other side, but I wanted to talk about this. It was my 5th point. Drew Brees. Will Drew Brees pull a Tom Brady and return to play in the NFL? Following a weekend report for the New York Post that the former Saints star will leave NBC, Brees added fuel to the fire on his Twitter account by suggesting he might play again. As we all know, Tom Brady retired from the NFL this season after his Tampa Bay Buccaneers were eliminated from the playoffs. He changed his mind shortly after and now plans to play another season. I think it was 41 days. Okay, listen, hold that thought because we don't have time to get into yours. But I will read this. The Vancouver Giants caught everyone's attention when they upset the top-seeded Everett Silvertips in the Dub playoffs in 6 games. The Kamloops Blazers, who finished 1 point ahead of Everett and swept Spokane in the best-of-7 first-round series, took notice and treated the underdog Giants with much more respect. After pushing the Blazers to a Game 6 on Sunday, the Giants ran out of gas and postseason heroics, dropping a 6-0 decision to the Langley them on Sunday at the Langley Event Center and losing the best-of-7 series 4-2. The Kamloops Blazers now face the winner of the Portland Winterhawks Seattle Thunderbirds series in the Western Conference Final. Portland leads that series 3-2 with Game 6 tonight in Seattle. So there's your Dub Hub report on this Monday. We'll be back to talk NHL, NFL, CFL, and more when we return to the Beach House in Pompano Beach, Florida, right after this timeout on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
RP Show continues from Beach House Pompano. Thanks for checking in wherever you're watching from on Game Plus TV today, plus YouTube Live. And maybe you're listening to the podcast. You can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify. Just checking in on the viewers. Jeff Kibilis in Winnipeg says, condolences to producer Clark and Darren. Sorry about the Leafs. ... Kinda. LOL. As we can bring the Moose in now. He is in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. And, Lee, our business consultant, although I believe he now does have a title. You can tell me what it is officially later. But he asked me if we needed to do a welfare check on you and Clark Saturday night. Did your phone blow up when the Leafs lost Game 7 to Tampa?
I don't know. I had it shut off. So I'm smarter than that.
How about
than
that?
to be anywhere near my phone and social media after the game. I don't need trolling or negativity. I was in a pretty good mood about 5 minutes after the game was over. But for that 5 minutes, it was
okay.
Nice.
I wasn't trolling either one of you. And I thought about going into the game. I put the photo on our Instagram story of me and the Tampa Bay Lightning pullover at their Stanley Cup party last year, if you remember, that I was invited to, and you. And I'm like, go Bolts! Yep. And I'm like, well, this is a little bit of an insult to Darren and Clark, but I don't care. By the way,
well, on that,
yes, go ahead.
There's the only thing I thought, I'm like, this guy's trolling and I don't like it, and I just, you notice we didn't talk all weekend. No, I'm kidding. It had nothing to do with that. But the Leafs haven't invited you to any parties, right? And the Bolts have, so I get it. Like, they've been very gracious.
You need to win a Stanley Cup to have a Stanley Cup party, like.
I never said Stanley Cup party. I didn't say that any party.
Win a cup first. By the way, Jason in Red Deer, who's a big supporter of ours, says, how huge was Connor McDavid for the Oilers? He led his team in ice time ahead of Cody Ceci, who was next. Well, again, I have no problem with emptying the tank of your best players in a Game 7 or at any time. I said Sheldon Keefe did it with his top guys. Didn't work out for the Leafs on Saturday, but it did work out for Jay Woodcroft in Edmonton, and I guess he's probably saved his job, to be honest. And by the way, he wasn't thinking about that. He was thinking about winning a series, not getting a contract for next year. But let's just talk about that for a second in that Flames-Oilers matchup, because so many people have tuned in today, particularly across Alberta, where all our numbers have skyrocketed. Funny how that works. But I got the Flames in 6. Bernie Nicholls had the Flames in 6. You picked the Flames to win. For me, it's the depth, it's the style of play, it's the better goaltending. They check all the boxes, man. Connor McDavid's not going to beat Calgary by himself.
Calgary Flames in that Game 7 last night, I think the final tally was something like it was over 120 shot attempts. And somebody had the funny comment, imagine if Mike Smith faced 120 shot attempts, what the score would have been last night. Now, Mike Smith was really good in round 1. He was really good. Give him his credit. He was very good. He was good at the end of the regular season. Had the gaff for sure, but they survived. And so if he plays well, they've got a really good chance. But Calgary's going to do what LA didn't. They're going to put a lot of pucks on it. They're going to be in the offensive zone a lot more. They're going to carry the puck. They almost had the puck for over half the game last night in the offensive zone. It's crazy. So they're going to do a lot of things that LA didn't do, and that's going to be different for the Oilers.
I don't know what it's going to take for the Oilers to win that series, but it's going to take more than Connor McDavid. And for how long he's been carrying that team by the scruff of their neck, and they got him through against Dallas, but I can't see it happening against Calgary. But who knows? It's going to be a long series, I believe, and certainly a tremendous series. Back to the CFL strike, which reminds me, where is it? It's in today's sports update, the latest to come from the Canadian Press Wire. More training camp practices were canceled today as the CFL players' strike enters its second day with no signs the league and CFLPA will be resuming contract talks. The league's last labor agreement, reached in 2019 and amended last year to allow the league to stage a 14-game season, expired at midnight Saturday. I know a lot of people are, clicking on the show and expecting live analysis and probably praying that the strike will end while we're on the air. And believe me, I would love to bring that news forth. But I don't know why anybody would think that the strike's going to end when they haven't even got talks scheduled again. I don't believe much of what I read in here. But Tank, watching in Estevan, says if the CFL strikes, fans will move on faster than the owners think to other leagues that are running. Now, I did, but that's not to say that everybody's going to do that. And what I mean by that is not leaving the CFL in the dust, but I've said I've got into auto racing, horse racing, sports betting during COVID. This is like COVID 2.0. They're not playing. They're sitting on their ass, right? You'd think they'd have learned a lesson the last 2 years, but they didn't. My question to you, before we talk about Drew Brees coming out of the booth, Darren, is how perilous is this? The strike happened. Dunk predicted it. It happened. Now I'm asking you how detrimental this will be to the CFL.
CFL's been around a long time. I think it is a problem if it carries on. Now, I also believe that if they wrap this up tomorrow and get back on the field for training camp and we don't miss any games, then it's not going to affect the league a whole lot for this season. I think, we're going to just forget about it and go back to business as usual. So there's a little bit of that on both sides, and that's also a little bit scary that we'll just forget about it and move on, because what it will do is it'll open up to these, negotiating tactics and these types of behaviors to happen again and again and again and again if we just, forget that the owners, pulled this at the 11th hour and that this happened and that we ended up with training camp not starting. So I do think that, I don't think the league's going to die because of this, but if it goes on any longer and we start missing games, it's going to keep being a problem.
A lot of thoughts raining down on me through all of that. And you and I haven't, like you said, we didn't talk all weekend. We had only a brief phone call today while I was driving down here to Pompano. I had another session with one of my advisors on Sunday, and I hadn't talked to her since December. So we had a lot to go through. And this ties into the CFL thing. She said every little dent and your armor that you accumulate through life adds up after a while, and you start to look like a golf ball after a while, right? And if you're not performing maintenance and getting rid of those dents, you know what I mean? And
yes,
it was now almost a year ago that she's like, we're going to start fixing you. I relate that to the CFL now, where they've had a lot of dents. You know, at some point, little things add up to big things. And I think that it's, in a lot of ways, a credibility issue. You're seeing that from the fans on social media. Yeah, people say they're asking for their refunds. Yeah, they say they're not going to watch. I don't believe they're going to follow through. But I think there's, you know, I've said you're either going forwards in life or you're going backwards. The CFL is not going forward. It's going backwards financially, for sure. And after a while, there's not going to be anything left. And when you say it's not going to die, no, it's not going to die. It's the difference between the Arizona Coyotes. They didn't fold. But they're the worst team in the league, and their rink's empty. So they weren't attended to. Where you look at the other leagues that are, or the other teams, that are thriving and winning and mushrooming and getting bigger. That's the difference. CFL will just be the Arizona Coyotes of leagues, just neglected. They still got some fans, but not as many as they used to. And there's not a lot of hope. So back to the Drew Brees thing, because I said we didn't have time last segment to bring it up. This is what I think. And full disclosure, Dan Graziano saying on ESPN this morning, the NFL insider, that he doesn't think Brees will come back. Story, I don't think he'll come back either. This is what I think happened. Drew Brees, how can you not love the guy? Tremendous quarterback. Heart on his sleeve guy. Super Bowl champion. Great dad. Great teammate from all accounts. Not a great broadcaster. Okay? Like when they came to his turn on the panel on Sunday Night Football, it was like, really? Like, let's get to it. Just so boring. So he got gassed a year into it, and I think a couple things happened here. He doesn't know what to do with his life. Pretty easy transition to go from the field to the booth. You're still preparing for the games. You're still around the guys. You still got a reason to get excited. Now I got nothing. I think Tom experienced that over his 41 days, too. You know what I'm saying? The difference is Drew Brees isn't Tom Brady. Okay? We all want to know what Tom Brady has to say. Are you that interested in what Drew Brees has to say? Not really. And he wasn't that excited in delivering it in the first place. So I think he got fired over the weekend by NBC and came out and said, oh, yeah, well, maybe I'll come back and play. Nobody wants him to come back and play. He's already won his Super Bowl. What's the motivation? So the second I saw this has hurt feelings a little bit. He's not coming back and playing. And my guess is what, guys? Darren just got bumped off the air. He's back? Okay, you got bumped, but you're back. So anyways, hurt feelings on behalf of Drew Brees. He's not coming back to play. He's not going to be on TV either. What's your...
Yeah, they didn't really like him when they put him in the booth, to do color. They all thought when he left playing and became a broadcaster at NBC that he was going to be the heir apparent to Chris Collinsworth in the booth. Just, it didn't translate, didn't have that personality, right? And I think he was better on the panel, but as you said, you're kind of just not really clamoring to hear what he has to say on the panel. And that's unfortunate because I think there's a lot of great knowledge inside his head. He's been around the game at a high level for such a long time. And I don't think people were clamoring to hear what Tony Romo had to say either. But he was so entertaining that it just worked, right? And Drew just didn't have that same personality, as a broadcaster. So, I think, they did ask him in week 16 when they were going through the quarterback issues to come out of retirement and play last year. He didn't. I think there's always going to be a fit for him if he wants to come back and play. But I think this is a little bit of Drew now. He has to weigh his options and figure out what the next chapter of his life is going to be.
Probably going to be a dad, would be my guess.
Yeah.
And he will find out, if he hasn't already, the most important job of his life. From the viewers, Chad Isaac says, I didn't think Tony Romo would cut it as a broadcaster, and now I love hearing him. Dude is a blast to listen to. I thought when I first saw Tony Romo doing games, and we talked about it on this show, if I was doing the play-by-play and he was my color guy, I would have strangled him or thrown him out of the booth because he's always jumping over Jim Nantz, cutting Jim Nantz off. But then I realized There's nothing wrong. Don't be that stodgy guy that isn't open to change. And if you've noticed, I'm not that guy, but I used to be that guy. I'd like to think I'm a lot more fun to be around now. And actually, I've come to like Tony Romo too. But I still say, if you can read a defense and predict what's coming this fast, why didn't you do it when you were quarterback in the Dallas Cowboys? Now I'm going to start and get mad. Sorry. Earl James, watching on YouTube, says... he says the Islanders hired Barry Trotz as assistant. He says, I'm sure Barry loves seeing that. Barry Trotz and Lane Lambert are very close. They were together in Washington, maybe even Nashville, too. Barry's probably happy for Lane. Got to look at it that way. Hey, Phyllis in Winnipeg says Vegas should hire John Tortorella. Can you imagine? Would Vegas be ready for that?
I don't know if they would be or not. I mean, I kind of go against the grain on some things. I'm a Tortorella fan. I'm open to it, but I don't think they make the move to hire John Tortorella. I really think it's a play to try and now court Barry Trotz as the next head coach. I really do, but it would be something.
I could see it too. I could see it. I'm sorry. This Phyllis, I think we got to give her a spot on the show. She says, I think the Sutter effect had a lot to do with the success of the Flames in the first round. Yes, Phyllis, and winning the pennant and doing a lot of things. I just don't know how, and the Calgary viewers, maybe some of you can chime in and tell me, how Daryl just gets the keys to the franchise. Like, from what I've heard from their staff, he's walked up to people in big jobs, big places, and said, you stay in your office, don't come out for 6 months. You leave your friends upstairs. Don't bring them into the room. Like, normally, you get skidded. You can't say that stuff. But this is what Daryl did, and it's worked. I love it. But how come Daryl gets to do it and nobody else gets to do it?
You put your balls on the table, and then you win. You can do whatever you want if you bring results.
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's exactly what's happened. Okay, Charlie's Simmer in next. Moose, we'll see you for overtime.
Awesome. See you then.
It is the RP Show. We're broadcasting live from Beach House, Pompano Beach, Florida, on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live. And, of course, if you missed any of the show, you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
RP Show continues from the Beach House in Pompano Beach. Big day in the National Hockey League. The Vegas Golden Knights have fired head coach Peter DeBoer. The New York Islanders have hired longtime Barry Trotz assistant Lane Lambert to be their next head coach. It is a night off in the Stanley Cup Playoffs. And I might add that it is day 2 of the CFL players' strike, which we'll get into a little later on. Well, listen, Charlie Simmer is our next guest. He's from Terrace Bay, Ontario, played in the National Hockey League, 712 seasons, 711 points, 1/3 of the famed Triple Crown line, and big fan. Charlie, thanks for the time, man. Where are you joining us from today?
I live in Lakeway, Texas, just part of Austin, Texas, west of it, about 30 minutes.
Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful part of the world. Charlie, I've been telling our younger crew and our staff, I said, Charlie was the Sam Malone of the National Hockey League in the 1980s. And, of course, they remember you watching you on the Flames crew. I got to ask you this, man, before we go any further. Daryl Sutter just walked in and night and day changed the culture of the Calgary Flames. You know, you've been around that team. Did you see it happening this fast for Daryl, and how did he go about doing it?
Well, with Daryl, it better happen faster. You're not going to be around very long. I've really enjoyed the time I've got to spend with Daryl. His first stint through Calgary, and obviously when he was coaching other teams, he's a very interesting interview, to say the least. Very straightforward, very honest, but very funny if you listen to him carefully. He's always saying something to motivate somebody or to get his point across. So definitely, if you're playing for his club, you know that you better be playing hard every night. And that's just, I think, what he expects from his players. And I think most players respect that. It's a straightforward, no lying, no behind your back talking. He's going to talk straight to you. And the funny part about him, I really enjoyed him away from the rink even more so. Obviously, a very humorous guy, a very charitable guy. He does so much around communities that you don't know about. So it's always nice to see success. And but I can imagine some of the players at certain times just are still scratching their heads. But the end result is you've got to win, and that's what he does.
You know, Charlie, it's funny you say that because another Kings great, Jared Stoll, told us we were at Super Bowl. He came on the show in L.A. and said that there's two sides to Daryl. And you've obviously seen both. I've only seen one. Really, whatever he does works. But, you know, looking back at round 1, this came out from the NHL today. The third most games ever in a single round, so many 7-game series, 14 elimination games, 19 comeback victories, 6 teams trailed in the series, came back to win. One of the greatest first rounds in NHL history. You must have really enjoyed it.
Well, I don't get as much hockey, obviously, down here as a lot of other areas. The time I did get to watch and stay in touch with some of the guys I know around the league, whether coaching or in management, it was very exciting for them. And, it just proves a point that you get in that first round, you get a little bit of a hot goaltender. You can eliminate some of the big teams out there. But I think it gives a lot of credit to the way the league is, even though some teams are separated maybe by 20 points during the regular season. You can see how close everybody is matched. And that's something that I think brings a lot of fans back to the game. The games are definitely more exciting. They're close. You really can't, in the old days, you could almost predict who was going to win the series. I mean, outside of Colorado and Nashville, all these series were at least 6 or 7 games. So definitely very exciting as a hockey fan.
No doubt, but I have to say this. Your old Kings teammate, Bernie Nicholls, was with us last hour. He's a regular analyst on the show, and he did nail 7 of 8 first-round series. I was very impressed with what Bernie did, and if you don't mind, I want to ask you what you see coming forth in the second round and who you if you don't want to make a pick, that's fine, but the Tampa-Florida series, what intrigues you about that one, and who do you think will come out on top?
Well, again, what we just talked about, Florida had such a great regular season. I think they won the President's Cup. And then, Tampa came in, I don't think they're just about outside of a wild card spot. And yet they were able to really start getting stronger as the series against Toronto went on, especially when you start looking at defensive play by their defenseman and their goaltender. You can tell that team had won 2 straight Stanley Cups and are looking for a third. So I think in the East, they're going to be the dark horse. I think I like them between them and Colorado. They beat my Boston Bruins in 7. Carolina beat my Boston Bruins in 7. And out on the West, obviously you can't not think about Colorado. But I think the team that really is going to surprise a lot of players is St. Louis. Again, they battle hard all year, and they're hard coached, similar to what Sutter has. And I think they'll give Colorado a good run for them. I'm not sure if they have enough power to do it. And then you got the Battle of Alberta. How exciting is that going to be for fans from the 80s, from those good old days? Unfortunately, us in LA, we didn't get to be that far in the playoffs, but definitely a very exciting time there. And I think it's a coin toss between an offensive team in Edmonton and a really good goaltender in Calgary.
Hey, good stuff, Charlie. And,
Was
Brian
that like
Lawton this morning on the NHL.
Was that walking the line just enough not to commit myself yet still look pretty intelligent, or what?
That was exactly what it was. You ever thought about politics, Charlie? I tell you. But the Blues, Brian Lawton was...
You never let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Well, you got to be a good storyteller for sure. But Brian Lawton was singing the praises of the Blues this morning on NHL Network, and I said, I'm not buying it. But maybe there's something to it. What is it that you like about these Blues?
Well, it's just, I think they're old school, and that's what I think when you get into these playoffs, that's really going to push a lot of teams. And, recently they won the Cup, and they've, I think Billington, the goaltender, has gotten a lot stronger lately. He might make another run at it, but again, the key will be trying to hold the Colorado offense down because, they're big, they're strong, they skate very well, and that's really going to be a good series.
Charlie, I got one last one for you. When you talk old school, it came up the other day, by the way, who were the 3 members of the Triple Crown line, and it took me a second, but I got them. But have you heard of this young player coming up in Western Canada, plays for the Regina Pats, Connor Bedard? Have you heard of this kid?
Very, very little. I've just recently started looking over who the draft picks are as they had the lottery last weekend. And definitely there are some, from what I can see, there's some really good, especially in the top 10, all around great players.
Well, the reason I ask is Connor Bedard is supposed to be the next Gretzky, the next Crosby. And I called his games for a few years in junior, and we were trying to find a comparison. And it was a fan that said, Marcel Dion. And I'm like, you nailed it. We could have the next Marcel Dion coming up. He skates like him, he shoots like him, he plays like him. And just tell, the viewers about Marcel Dion. Because even like I talk about our young staff, they don't remember Marcel. What a player. Yeah,
he definitely was. Hopefully this young man's a little bit taller than Marcel. but
not much.
Not much. You know, the thing that's incredible about Marcel is he wasn't a tall player. He was stocky, and he was strong on the skates. And obviously, coming over from the Quebec League, him and Guy Lafleur were 1 and 2. I mean, Guy wins 5 Stanley Cups, and again, tough loss for us with the alumni in the NHL losing a great player and person like him this year. But you know, they're 1 and 2, and Marcel gets no Stanley Cup rings, and Guy gets 5. Marcel outscores Guy Lafleur. In teams that really have never had any chance to win the Stanley Cup. So, I mean, his size alone in that era that we played, the physical style, the big players, the Broad Street bullies, and for him to go game in and game out and score 1,800 points or give or take a couple, it's amazing. And, you know, we really developed a great friendship that we still keep very close to, even to today with Davey Taylor. Of course, maybe that's another reason I'm cheering for St. Louis. He's finally got a cup with them as in management. He's still working with them, but you know, it was incredible to play with those two gentlemen. Of course, Marcel was the key to our line. He was the superstar that did everything.
Well, you keep your eye open. Bedard will go number 1 overall next year in 2023, but he is the next Marcel Dionne. And I know you guys didn't do a lot of winning in the 80s in LA, but you were always winners with those gold jerseys, the home jerseys with the purple. Charlie, big fan here. I appreciate the time, and hopefully we can do it again here.
Well, anytime. You have my number now, and I look forward to it. You've got the beach. I've got the hill country here in Texas. We can talk hockey whenever we need to.
It's perfect. Exactly. Thank you, Charlie. Have a great day.
All the best.
NHL great Charlie Simmer joining us from just outside Austin, Texas. The Moose will rejoin us for overtime. You are watching live from the Beach House in Pompano Beach, Florida, on Game Plus TV. We're live streaming on YouTube daily too, and of course 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital 4. custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
One final time, it is overtime, live from the Beach House. And overtime is brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the Stanley Cup Playoffs and the UFC. Jennifer wrote in earlier from the Four Seasons to say some very long faces there with Leafs and Penguins fans by name, the Greek Freak and Jazzy, respectively, as we can bring the Moose in. And for overtime, just so you know, Moose, Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in and says, great to see Charlie Simmer on the RP show. Where else can you find interviews with great players like Charlie? The answer to that is nowhere, because nobody else is doing what we're doing, not on television anyways. So what did you think about that interview with the Sam Malone of the 1980s NHL?
You weren't kidding. He looks like $1 million, talks well, and, you know, he wants to do it again and again and again. So I love it. He's like, you got my number. So I look forward to it. He admired the beach, so it's good.
Yeah, and that reminds me, it was our guy Lee Genier who set that up with Charlie. So yeah, we got all the greats here. So viewer takeover is, as always, for Taco Time with over 120 locations across Canada. There's always a Taco Time near you. The Jug's watching, Moose. The Jug writes in. He says, McDavid, he's just something special out there. What can he do? And then on Sunday at the Flames game, the Dome was buzzing. Also, there was no way they weren't going to lose that game. But Calgary could be out with Tanev. He didn't play last night. Oh, the Jug went to both Game 7s in Edmonton and Calgary. What do you think that ran him?
Does it matter with that guy? You've seen the wads of cash he has just fallen out of his jeans. So, no, I saw the photos, and good on him. He watches every day and pays attention and follows all our stuff. Big supporter. So, you know, enjoy it, Jug. Enjoy it.
I wonder how much stripper money he took with him. He usually lets us know in that little slush fund. Metal Shingle Guy writes in and he says, well, the little hockey I watch is normally over when the leaves are gone. With the CFL done till the cows come home, bring on more hockey. Calgary fan now, says Metal Shingle Guy. Chad writes into the 902 line and he says, are the Bengals the team to beat this year? Added to the O-line to protect Joe Burrow and probably the best wide receiver core in the NFL, with Boyd, Chase, and Higgins, along with Mixon. Then there's that. And the NFL we haven't even talked about, save for the Drew Brees coming out of retirement talk, which I don't think is talk at all. Is the NHL getting on your radar, Moose? I got to think that it is. It's on everybody's radar year-round.
NFL? Yeah. I mean, for sure it is. I watch the networks, right? Just like you do. And it's always on my radar. I mean, it is a 365, machine. And there's always something going on. I'm excited to see where things go here. There's still a lot of things to be developed. And Drew Brees would throw a monkey wrench right in the middle of everything, when it comes to dominoes. That's the big thing. What happens then? What does that do to, Baker Mayfield and, the New Orleans Saints and everything else if he decides to come back? I mean, that's just wild.
There's a reason why they dedicate hours and hours and hours of programming. They have their own channel, for the love of Pete. NFL Network did a 5-hour special on the schedule release last Thursday. ESPN itself did 2 hours. JT in the chat writes in, he says, hi, I'm okay with the CFL on strike. USFL's filling in nicely. NFL season soon. XFL starting up in the new year. Football's covered. Well, I was slipping through the channels yesterday afternoon, saw the USFL was on Fox Sports 2, and I was like, pass. So I didn't watch it. I didn't have a reason to watch. There's a lot of other options out there right now. Are you making the USFL part of your viewing schedule?
I'm not, and partly because it's my team sucks. Michigan lost again. So I think they're 2-3 or something now. I think they lost to your Tampa Bay Bandits, by the way. And that's only because I saw the score come across in my social media scrolling. You're right. Like, it hasn't done enough yet to reach our daily consciousness. Like, you know, the storylines aren't there. There's no reason for you to get out of bed in the morning, so to speak, right? So once we still, like, again, I can't name you 10 players. I can't name you 5 players on the Michigan team. That's my team. So until I can, it's going to be tough to pull me out of bed to watch those games.
As I said way back at the start of this show, John, the maintenance guy who got us set up here with power today, what does he think about the CFL? Warren Moon. Last minute of play in the RP show. Important, the players. And that's part of the reason why this CFL strike has just got me so, it's off-putting that you would treat your players this way. I'm clearly on the players' side, but all of it is just bad. And the old boys club in the CFL is what's holding them back. The Off the Hosel podcast writing in, hey boys, it's been a while. Hope all is good. There's Drew from the Off the Hosel podcast. The Brent Sutter of the Prairie Junior Hockey League is watching. We're out of time, other than to say Jeff Kibilis in Winnipeg says the NFL is on my mind. I'm afraid of what the Cardinals will do to mess things up in the off season. They're certainly trying. Thanks to Charlie Simmer, thanks to Bernie Nicholls, thanks to this entire team with the great culture for putting it all on. And Moose, we'll see you tomorrow.
Awesome. See you guys.
Noon Eastern on. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
How about that? Right on. Bingo! Let's go! And that's G. Hot take. Bob's your uncle. Spicy. Approved. Oh, good one, Rod. Let's go! And that's G. Bingo! Right on. Oh, no.